Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen, for those of you who don't already know, and since I'm the MC, I get the pleasure of introducing myself. I'm a senior product manager at Twitch, focusing on all things developer insights. And I'm so excited to be here today to tell you more about the insights products we have available and talk about the future roadmap. Jeff spent a lot of time talking about monetization and diving in. In this next presentation, we'll focus on data and analytics for all developers on Twitch. Whether you're a game developer, extension developer, or a mod author, we want to empower you to make data-driven decisions about the different products that you're building. Last year, we had 0 products available. And today, I am so proud to be here to be able to show you 3 different products that we have. Game Developer Analytics, Quarterly Twitch Insights, and Extension Developer Analytics, and share more about how our different developers are using them. We'll also dive into the future and vision for Twitch Insights. So, if you love data, then you are definitely in the right place. At Twitch, we experiment to decide, and we're diving in to streamers, viewers, and players at every step of the watch, play, engage cycle. We believe that more engaged viewers will support streamers, and viewer interactivity is at the center of everything that we do. In the keynote, we talked a little bit about that epic moment with Ninja and Drake. How many Fortnite fans do we have in the audience? Woo, okay. So, if you happen to be part of that epic moment, you would have seen Ninja supporters giving him so many bits and hopping on that sub-train. At the same time at Twitch, we offer different integrations to really drive your players back into game, just like drops. As I mentioned in the keynote, drops are a fantastic way to really delight your community by offering viewers a chance to win really cool in-game loot for engaging with your content on Twitch. Additionally, extensions are a fantastic way to increase viewer interactivity. And for developers, they offer several different options, like the PUBG contraband extension that Michael Lewis and Jeff shared a little bit more about. That extension is great because viewers can support their favorite streamers by buying in-game skins for Shroud or Dr. Disrespect or many other streamers on Twitch. And so, as a developer, as you're thinking about your Twitch community, you probably have many burning questions. Where in the world are my streamers streaming from? Who is using my extension? And how are my new features impacting my Twitch community? Did interactivity go up when I changed that button to purple? Or how's the community reacting to that new hero we just released? Well, the great thing is that the Twitch Insights team is fully dedicated to answering all of these questions for you. Our main goal is to empower you with self-serve data, analytics, and insights to help you all answer all of these questions and more on Twitch. First, we'll cover how game developers are using these products today. The first product we'll talk about is Game Developer Analytics. This is the first iteration of our Insights product that we launched in March around GDC. Right now, we provide a game overview report that lets you understand the holistic presence of your game across all of Twitch, and also dive into key metrics about your community of viewers and streamers. You can look at different data about interactivity and chat as well, and learn more about extensions. Right now, this data is available via CSV download or API. Well, let's look at a few examples of how developers use this today. If you focus on broadcaster growth, you might use a graph like this to really measure if that campaign to get more broadcasters to stream your game took off. You can dive into both hours broadcast or unique broadcasters. Let's say you had an event on May 24th. That's my birthday, so I picked that date. But you can dive in and look at the past year and see how many average concurrent broadcasters you had for that event, check out the peak concurrent broadcasters, and also look at how that compared to the other days during the year when maybe you didn't have an event. If you're curious about extensions, this data is a great way to see if the broadcasters in your community are using extensions. You can also look at unique active extensions to see what different types of extensions they're using. And so looking at this, there may be an opportunity as a game developer to either build your own custom extension or open up public APIs to empower our amazing community of extension developers to build those extensions for you. We also have a lot of great data in game developer analytics on viewer trends. And so a marketing manager might use a chart like this to measure different campaigns and really dive into unique viewers and also minutes watched. At the same time, you can also look at average concurrent viewers, peak concurrent viewers, and also check out peak time. And if you have a live content strategy or not live content strategy, you can really dive in and see what's powering your growth on Twitch. Some other cool features in game developer analytics are chat engagement and clips. Chat engagement is really interesting because as a game developer, you may have launched a new game or you might be continuously releasing new features. You can really dive in and check out total live chat messages sent and unique chat participants and see what they're saying. Clips are also really cool. As a social media manager, you might check out your top clip of the day. Here's a fun one from Shroud playing the latest Call of Duty game. And so, if you're the social media manager, you can easily access top clips of your game for every day for the past year and tweet those out or share them internally. And so, just like CD Projekt Red, we hope that you'll leverage these data analytics and insights to really measure your online presence and learn more about your community of streamers and viewers, and also measure the performance of your different esports events or campaigns. The next product we'll discuss is Quarterly Twitch Insights. Quarterly Twitch Insights is our first visualized report that really lets you dive into your community on Twitch. It's self-serve data that updates every quarter, and we've backfilled it to 2017 Q4, so you can look at different reports all the way to last year and see how your community has been changing over time. Let's take a look at each different section. At the top of Quarterly Twitch Insights, you can use this calendar dropdown and navigate to past reports. And as new reports come out, they'll be updated automatically here. You can also dive in to key metrics for your viewers and your streamers and see the Q over Q change. We also are so excited to be able to highlight top broadcaster, most dedicated broadcaster, and rising star. Many game developers already know their top broadcaster, but dedicated broadcaster is really exciting because this is someone who really loves your game, who's not partnered yet, but is incredibly devoted to streaming it and playing it. You can also dive in and learn more about social impact or easily navigate to get started with Bounty Board, which is our turnkey solution that connects game developers to Twitch influencers at scale through paid sponsorship opportunities. This portion is probably the portion that I'm most excited about. One of the biggest asks from developers on Twitch is, what is my community doing when they're not watching or they're not streaming my game? And this section will help you really learn about your different audience preferences. Additionally, another one of the key pain points from our developer community has been the ability to dive into the regions of their community. Here, we highlight the top areas for your streamer growth and your viewer growth so that you can work on localization efforts or run targeted marketing campaigns. I talked a little bit about drops earlier, but they're a really fantastic way to drive players back into your games. And if you're a drops customer, you can navigate here to see different performance of your campaigns. If you want to learn more about drops or you're not a customer yet, this section will show you different metrics and success stories about our customers like Blizzard and Overwatch League who are using drops today. And extensions. We've talked a lot about extensions today, and as game developers, you're probably curious about the top extensions being used with your games. And so here we'll highlight the top 3, and you can easily click here to get started with extensions to learn more about them. We also offer the ability to export all of this data via CSV, as we know that many of you have to combine Twitch data with other data for internal presentations. A new feature we just launched is the post-review export so that you can easily PDF this and print it or share it out to your company. Just like Adult Swim games, we hope that you'll leverage insights to better understand your community on Twitch. And so you're probably wondering, how do I get my hands on this juicy data? Well, it's very easy. All you need to do is go to dev.twitch.tv and sign up for an account. And if you already have a Twitch.tv account, you can easily link those together and cut down some of the steps. The next step you'll take is to register your company and games. One note I want to mention is that all of our data is GDPR compliant, and we care deeply about your privacy and trust. That's why all of this data is protected by authentication on dev.twitch.tv, and our solution architect team will take the time to verify that you're working for the company you say you're working for, and that you own the games that you're requesting. If you're a new game developer or an existing game developer, make sure that you register your game on Giant Bomb, as we leverage their games library as part of our verification process. After you get set up with your company and games and account, simply go to your games dashboard, click on View Games, and then easily export the daily CSV by clicking this button. Or you can click on Quarterly Twitch Insights to get to the page and access all of your different quarterly reports. If you have new games coming out, simply click on Add Game in the corner to add those. And you can also use this page to change the different box art for your games. We've had some developers seasonally change the box art, which has been really cool. CSV downloads are not the only way to get game analytics. You can also access these via the Get Game Analytics API, which is protected by the same authentication that we use on dev.twitch.tv. The first product for extension developers that I'm so excited to share more about is Extension Developer Analytics. And so last year, we didn't have anything for our developers, and we know that data was one of their top asks. Developers were so excited to build on Twitch and continue to iterate on their extensions and make them even better for the community. And so that's why our team has built out Extension Developer Analytics to help you really dive into your extension developer funnel. We offer 44 different metrics starting at January 31st, 2018 that let you dive into usage, trends, acquisition, and interaction in bits and extensions. So we have a special surprise today. I am so excited that Barry Carlin is here to tell you more about Extension Developer Insights. You might recognize his friendly face from across the pond because he is one of the most active developers in our developer community, and he has created 4 amazing extensions. Please join me in welcoming Barry to the stage.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Barry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Barry Carline. I primarily do infrastructure development for CodeCarnage, and I'm also OPG consultant. And I spread my wings a little bit, and I do odd bits of development for various different streamers, including Sacriel and ItMeJP at the moment. And I also do other bits and pieces on the side when I have time. I'm going to talk a little bit today about some of the extension analytics I use, and then we're going to do a bit of live coding and demonstrate how to fetch your analytics. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the analytics that I'm working on the CodeCarnage extension. What we have on CodeCarnage's stream is a extension, which is a panel, which is underneath the stream. It's currently not available on mobile, which is different to some of the other extensions that I've got. And as you can see, code streams every day. As a result of that, the metrics look relatively flat. I can go through the information I have available, and I can see that day to day, the average number of people who are using the extension is relatively the same to the number of people who come and watch code, which is a good thing because it means everything's working fine and it doesn't break too much. The extension itself doesn't actually do too much. It literally just allows people to link their Twitch ID to me so I can see who they are. And then I display to them their currency because we have a channel currency which can be used online. We are looking at in the future to expand this extension to do other bits and pieces. So that will include using their currency to purchase things from our token store and other things that we may add down the line. So it'll be interesting to see when that comes along how the previous year analytics compares to the following year when we add these features. The second extension that I'm going to talk about is the 40-second tags redemption store extension, which is a bit of a mouthful. This is a bit more of an interesting story. It does exactly the same thing as Co's. You link your extension, link your Twitch ID to the extension, and then I can see who you are, and then I show you your tags. But the other thing that it does is it also shows you the items that are currently available in their store. So Sacriel has agreements with his sponsors, so they provide items every month, and then viewers can use their tags to exchange for tickets for these giveaways. One of the more interesting things in this graph is you might notice about 2/3 of the way across, there's a huge crater. That crater exists because it was the launch weekend for Star Wars Battlefront, and it totally overwhelmed my EBS, which is the backend server for an extension. So we decided to move everything to another server in Canada, but in order to do that, we had to push out a new version of the extension. So whilst my tiny little 2 GB VPS in London was on meltdown, we literally just turned the extension off for 2 days whilst we spoke to Twitch and got a new version of the extension out. As you can see, a little further along towards the end, around about the end of August, we have a huge spike where my new server quite happily took the load of the game launch of Scum, which was at the end of that month. So we leveraged the extension analytics to see that everything broke, we fixed it, and now it all works fine. So the metrics that I'm showing here are the clicks and views and renders, which are the three most important metrics that I'm looking at. But Twitch provides 44 different metrics, and a lot of those are useful for some extensions and not necessarily for other extensions. So the first 2 extensions that I've spoken about are panel extensions, but my third extension is a video extension. So video extensions have some extra metrics, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But the first thing that is important to note here is that Elite Track is an extension specific to a game. So I'm not necessarily going to look so much at the number of renders and views that I might get, because it's a game that's not as popular as other games, so I have a lot less in terms of people who are actually using the extension, and of course a lot less viewers who are then viewing the extension. So what I've got here on this graph is the same metrics that I've shown on the previous graphs, because just for consistency, but I've also tied in some information from my EBS. So Elite Track is for Elite Dangerous, which is a space sim. What that game does is it writes a journal log, and then the journal can be used for various third-party developers. So a lot of people just install a program called EDMC, which then sends it off to EDDN, which then goes to EDDB and other sites. But what I've got is a little program installed on Broadcaster's computer, which sends their journal to my EBS, and then I've solved the scale problem that I had with Sacriel by using the pub subsystem to fan out to the people using that. So I literally just take the journal, copy it straight out to viewers, and then I can graph the journal events against the Twitch analytics. So I'm merging information from multiple different sources here. So that's a quick look through 2 different types of extensions across 3 extensions that do various different things, and how I use the analytics to future plan, basically. So I can see at the moment that with Elite Track, it's trundling along. I'm not getting necessarily a lot of installs, which is where the new things around the acquisition pages and hopefully the new installation widget is going to be useful for things like that. So the extension analytics are there, and it's very useful to me because I can future plan and I can see where I need to fix things when things break. So one of the more interesting things about Elite Track is that I know when there's a patch day because my EBS totally goes quiet. So yeah. And now we're on to the live coding section.
Oh yes, wait, but you have to show them how to get it, Barry,
Yes.
and then the live coding.
This is where the laptop
Yes.
comes in. So
Yes.
no, I'll get that set up whilst I'm thinking about it. But yeah, there are 3 ways to get your extension analytics. The most easiest way is you can literally go onto your dev panel, and on the dev panel, you have the CSV export. So you log in, and then from there, you can go onto your extensions tab. And then each extension that is listed there, you can just get the export CSV. That's there if you just want to go, right, I need to go get some extension analytics right now because I need to go and build a report for someone. So the export CSV there will happily quite work. And that's, again, protected by all the normal dev.twitch.tv authentication. But the more interesting way is the live code section.
Yes. Who's ready to code? Woo! All right.
Hurrah, it worked. But yeah, when it comes to analytics, the most important thing to do anyway, because I've left the docs open, is you need to literally refer to the docs because it literally goes through every single metric that's available. And because each extension is different and you need to understand how you want to be able to report on your extension. so that you can understand how you want to use it. So you need to pick out the right metrics that works for you. So don't need that. That's the documentation. But yeah, the most important, of course, the documentation is the first place to start. Game analytics and extension analytics roughly work the same way in how you fetch them, as Kristen's already gone through. So with the extension analytics, you need to go through the Twitch authentication loop, which I'm not going to go into because that's documented elsewhere, but you need an authentication key with the analytics read extension scope. But I'm not going to go into authentication today. But there's a handful of query string arguments that you might want to choose, but I have already prepared some code. I'm not going to leak my extension secret, so hopefully we won't be having any screw-ups on that. Where did I leave the right window? But yeah, basically, I'm doing it in Node.js because that's my preferred scripting language at the moment. The first main endpoint is the extension analytics endpoint. As you can see here, I'm just doing a basic GET request to literally go and get it and assigning my OAuth that I've already fetched elsewhere. I've got a loop that goes through the data return because it will return, in this case, it returns 8 different entries because it returns the version 1 report and the version 2 report. The version 1 report, which is documented over here, only contains a handful of information. So you can choose if you want the V1 report, which is a bit more summary, whereas the V2 report gives you everything. So I've got a loop that just goes through and then just chooses to go and fetch V2, which should hopefully work fine, he says. Node example, node.js. But yeah, that's just going to go through, and the script is spitting out some very long URLs because they're the what Twitch generates the reports and it puts them onto AWS, and you can download them from AWS, so they're valid for a short while. And they should spit out into my test directory, which I've forgotten where it is. There are my CSVs ready to go. So if I open up this one, you can see that's the CSV for the 40-second tag store, and it's all there quite happily. But one of the more useful things with the analytics extensions endpoint is that they've actually provided it as a webhook. What normally happens is that from the start of the end of January, 31st of January, through till 2 days ago, the report is there. It's generated around about midnight UTC, but you can subscribe to a webhook. So then the moment that the report is ready, you can get a payload of information, which then tells you that you can go and get the report, then do what you want with it. The reason that's useful is that you might want to have the report automatically go into your infrastructure, and then you can track and see what's going on in case there's been a sudden dropout in viewer interaction. You can know about it pretty much instantly. So you might suddenly have pushed out a new version of your extension, and then you'll be able to see if that new version of the extension has increased viewership, or if suddenly everyone's uninstalled your extension and gone to another one, which is probably the worst thing that you could happen. So setting up the webhook is relatively straightforward. I've already prepared the script here. There's a couple of bits and pieces, like with webhooks, you need to set up secrets to make sure that when Twitch sends a message to you, you can verify it. So I've got a nice little function here, which does all the verification I need. If anyone has any problems with any of your scripts, please do pop on the dev forums. There's loads of people, including myself, who are ready to help, or you can join us on the TwitchDev server. But most of this is just standard, send out a post request to, post request? Yes, post request. Send out a post request to the webhook subscription endpoint, which then just sets up the webhook, and then Twitch will just send you the information as soon as the webhook is booted up. And this is just standard stuff, so when the webhook comes in, I extract the URL from the response and fetch the report, and at the moment it just dumps it into a directory. And I can set up a ng-rock tunnel, which will do everything I need to do. 9012. Copy this out over here. And this bit goes in here. And hopefully, if I fire this up, it should happily set up the webhook. Example hook server. And it's broken. Oh, you can fix that. Oh, I put a space at the start. There we go. and that's quite happily gone and set up the webhook. What the webhook normally does is you put out a post request to the webhook setup endpoint, which is this one here with all of the extra callback bits and pieces. So you're setting up a subscribe, and in this case, I've set the lease to 10 seconds. You probably want to set the lease to a day or so, because every time the lease runs out, you need to renew it. Maximum is 10 days at the moment. And then every day, you will get a response, and just remember to renew it every time you need to. And as you can see, I've had a response into my NG rock tunnel, and I've echoed back the callback, and it's all set up and ready to go. So that was a nice little crash course in setting up a webhook and fetching your extension analytics via API.
Great. Thank you so much, Barry.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I can give you this bit back.
Yes, yes.
Cool. Should I go away now?
Oh, yes. You can take your computer, but if you leave it here, I'll promise to give it back to you later. Up to you. Yes, so I also just really want to thank Barry, because without his feedback and the feedback of a lot of the other incredible developers in our community, Extension Developer Analytics would not be what it is today. So thank you to everyone who continues to give us constructive feedback for how we can improve Insights products to meet your needs. So here's just a quick example. This was our backup in case the live coding demo didn't work. And now let's talk a little bit about the future of Twitch Insights. So our team has spent the last year building out the foundation for insights and analytics for all of our developers on Twitch. We're just getting started, and our next focus area is to build out an interactive dashboard with charts and graphs and expanded data for all of our developers, for game developers, extension developers, and mod authors. One of our first focus areas is really expanding game developer insights and increasing the different data that we can provide you around interactivity with your game and how the community is feeling about your game. We also know that it's really difficult to fix what you can't measure. And if you can't analyze it, you can't change it. And that's why we're really diving into audience insights for all of our developers on Twitch. We want to offer much better segmentation by segments like stream language, region, and device type. And right now, with the data we offer, you can only look at your performance versus the other extensions or the other games that you own. And that's why we're also looking into providing competitive benchmarking or industry analytics so that you can see what best in class really means and also see where you stack up. For our extension developers, we want to provide you with even more data into your extension funnel and also dive into the differences between anchor types. And we love our mod author community too. And that's why our team is hard at work building out the first iteration of mod author analytics so that you can see how your different mods on CurseForge are performing. And we know that data is so important to empower the decisions that you make about your businesses and your products every single day. And that's why we're committed to providing you with data-backed best practices and also recommendations for the best products to help you grow, build, and engage across all of Twitch. So we've talked a lot about insights today, but we understand that data, analytics, and insights empower all of the decision-making at every step of the watch, play, engage cycle. At Twitch, we experiment to decide, and we hope that you'll come experiment with us. Thank you.